main section, which is what people visit when they come to the Garden of Gethsemane, but that's on the other side. But first we'll give you some just time on your own to choose a tree, maybe.
Carve your name into it?
No, don't do that.
I'm kidding.
It's a holy site.
I know.
If you do that, then your name will be carved somewhere and God will always remember. But anyway, this is the garden of thy will as opposed to the garden of my will. Gad Shmanim, Gad means presses, and Shmanim is the plural of olives. So Gad Shmanim means olive presses. And abundance of olive trees, you can see them all over. There's one on the other side that's approximately 2,000 years old. That we'll see when we get over to the other side. And Paul calls Jesus the second Adam. Sin began with Adam's unwillingness or disobedience, and sin ended with Jesus' willingness or obedience. So the garden of thy will as opposed to the garden of my will. Now looking at this garden, and you know the story. 11 came with Jesus. 8 of them kept here. Peter, James, and John a little bit further in. Jesus goes in a little further to pray. Judas then comes over, and you know Jesus is arrested. But there's a lot of drama that's happening that night. First of all, the disciples get fallen asleep, which is failure on their side. Second, there's a man named Malchus who's involved. You know Malchus?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Malchus was the servant or the slave, whatever you want to call him, of the high priest. And if you think about Malchus and how Malchus's life changed after this garden, the high priest's house is up the hill that way. And there's a lot of big tombs in the valley. It's a full moon, you know, the holiday. And those tombs were whitewashed so that they're conspicuous and people can't see them. They don't want to bump into them. The Temple Mount, they become impure. Torches, a cohort of soldiers, 200 people at least, coming down with torches and spears and clubs and what have you, all kinds of swords and weapons. And Malchus comes with them and into this garden. By the way, they had to bring Judas because Jesus frequented this garden. And everybody knew who Jesus was. They just didn't know exactly where in the garden he would be because it's a big garden. So they bring Judas to lead them to where he would be. And this is where the drama begins because somebody is trying to hit Malchus with the sword, and somebody wasn't that good with the sword anyway. Some translations say that he cut off Malchus's earlobe, which means that he wasn't trying to hit him this way, but he was trying to hit him that way, and he missed the neck and he hit the ear instead. You know that somebody was Peter, obviously. But you can just imagine the blood and everything, and then the drama, or before that, the drama begins also with the name. Only the name, the power of the name of Jesus, because every time he mentions who he is, everybody falls down, right? And then he picks up the ear and he puts it back, and it's as if there's nothing had happened. So the life of Malchus, and the question that went to Malchus, and if you've seen that movie, The Passion, Malchus was hesitant to even get up, because this is not something that happens every day. We've come to arrest this man, and this is the last miracle that he performed for the benefit of someone else. Right? Somebody would ask Malchus, how was your day? Not an easy way to answer that question. Now, Peter comes, and the others come, and we've been speaking about the Messiah, physical Messiah. They know who he is, they know who he was. He just doesn't want to do the job. So we'll force him to do the job. 2 swords, right? That's what the disciples had. 2 swords. In untrained hands. They were not fighters, they were fishermen. Against 200 in well-trained hands, that's not a match. Peter is not stupid. He knows it's not a match. He knows it's an uneven fight. What are your chances? You're gonna attack someone, you're gonna kill someone, then what happens? They're gonna come and get you. And finally, maybe this Messiah will get involved. So I'm gonna push you, Jesus. I'm gonna put you on the spot with picking an uneven fight and have you get involved. But Jesus disappoints Peter even more. Book of Mark at the end. A young man comes dressed in a linen dress. Remember? They grab onto the dress, he takes it off, runs away. They say it's Mark because he's the only one who mentions the story. Regardless of who that man is, obviously he was a follower of Jesus. And linen is mentioned in the burial story. So linen was also used for shrouds. In other words, that man came prepared to die. He also was, he came in his shroud, right? He was a follower of Jesus. And he was humiliated in the story we're going to get to. Now, let this cup pass from me. This is what he said. Well, what's a cup? A cup can't have more than one